The following presentation is a Deej Experience production and may not be recorded, rebroadcasted, or retransmitted without the express written permission of Deej Experience, LLC. For more information, visit us online at www.deejexperience.com. Well, good morning, everyone, and welcome on into the Deej Peeps podcast, live from the Rossbacker Studios. I am Scott Lockwood with your host, Dewey Hurd, Stephen Mountain, Rob Elchinsky off this week, and we got some special guests in the house today. But before we get to that, fellas, how was your week this week?
Mine was good. Thursday, I was over in Union City covering a girls' game. They played against Titusville. They controlled that game from the start, got a big lead, won that game. And then last night, boys played Cochranton, and a tough loss by 2. That game was tight the whole way. I think the Bears led by 6 at one point, and that was the biggest lead in the entire game. So lost a tight one there, and that's it. Scott, it was a good week.
Do you have truck trouble or?
No issues.
No issues?
No.
Girlfriend good?
Girlfriend's good. She leaves Monday to go back to Arizona for a couple weeks, actually. So.
Oh, peace and quiet.
Oh yeah, sure. I
Don't-
don't think she'd like that.
Oh, okay.
But yeah, we're
Well,
good.
give her my best wishes.
Yeah, I will. Always.
Dewey, how did your week go this week?
Well, it was pretty good. We had wrestling on Thursday. Boys got a big victory down in General McLean as they took care of the Lancers by a single point, 30-29. Some fun festivities in that one. And the girls got their first team victory against the Lancers as well, as they got a 30-18 win over General McLean on the road. So first win for the girls as a team, and they're having a pretty good year as they're placed in the top 5 in 3 of the tournaments that they've been in this year. And look forward to seeing how they do the rest of the year.
All right. Wife is not good. Wish her the best.
Yeah, she's got a little bit of a foot problem.
Yeah.
But
So,
seems like it's getting worse before it's getting better, but we'll get there.
So I've had no sleep this week, just to let you know. I've had the guys at Dynasty Construction banging on my house for about a week straight now. As our insurance claim finally came through, and they're doing repairs. So roof's done. Siding's getting ready to go up. Ugly green, mint green color was on the paint.
Didn't you pick the color
Why'd you
out?
pick that then?
No, I'm saying when they tore the siding off.
Oh.
The woodwork, it was the ugliest, like, 70s mint green color you could, and I'm like, what in the heck were they thinking?
This is from the hail?
Like,
The hail
yeah, the hail damage.
Okay.
So Josh's crew ripped all the siding off, and hopefully that'll be up this week. Any guesses what color the house is going to be?
Red and black.
Oh, for the Buckeyes?
Of course. Well, I mean, if you want to say that too, we'll go with that. Speaking of Buckeyes.
I'm just looking at that Buckeyes flag up
Yeah.
there.
So anyways, welcome in to the podcast this week. We have head coach of the Corey Beavers football team, Mr. Jeff Goodwill, in the house. And we've got a few players as well, Aiden Trask, Nick Lesher, and Mr. Blake Cook in the house. Did I spell it wrong?
Yeah.
Does that surprise anybody? Let's be honest.
That's okay.
Wait a minute.
I don't take any of that personally.
Hang on a minute. Did I really?
Well, Goodwill's a pretty cool name, but Goo Will.
I think you need to learn how to read.
There we go.
There.
Got it.
Is that better?
I love it.
I probably screwed up some names here too. So they get them all right.
All good.
Yeah. I
Like
got
3
the-
out of 4.
I got the important ones right.
Good enough. That'll
Right?
pass.
No, it's
75% pass.
Look, let's talk about Beaver football for a bit here, as you guys probably the best season since when? 2012 was it?
Yes. Yep.
So you guys, I'm still baffled by the playoff game over Fort LaBeouf, that win.
Me too.
The kick heard around District 10, as I labeled it. Man, what a game! If you were to put a stamp on this season, what would it be?
Probably fun. I feel like as a coaching staff, we had fun all year long. I feel like our guys, our players, had fun. They enjoyed kind of the process the whole way through, from summer workouts to fall camp, most practices. I feel like we were out there playing the game the right way and having fun, and it showed through in the games. It was just a overall really fun year.
Well, we've had fun covering it. This season's been a blast. We'll take a look real quick. I think I have the graphic ready. May not. It's been a rough week this week. We've got new computers and whatnot. So 9-3 on the year, correct?
Yep.
Co-Region 4 champions, or is it 5? Region 5.
Region 5.
Region 4 was volleyball. So and that huge win over Fort LaBeouf. Hickory we knew was going to be tough.
Yeah.
They're always tough. I mean, you get down there in that area of PA, Sharon, Hickory, I mean, they feed them different. I don't know what it is, but whether it's feeding something in the water, but we competed pretty well, I thought.
Yeah, I thought so too. I mean, hats off to Hickory and all those, your Sharons, your Grove Cities. I mean, they're not just born that way. I mean, they're putting in the work. They eat and breathe football, wrestling, track and field, all that. And Coach Dungy does an unbelievable job with those guys. So hats off to them. But yeah, I thought, at times we competed well, but they just outmanned us.
So let's get – sorry, Blake. We're going seniors first. It's always the case, right? I know he's waiting for his airtime.
I'll be okay with that.
Yeah. All right. So I don't think you have a choice.
I know.
I have the buttons over here, Is your dad watching today, by the way?
Probably not, but
Okay.
I think my mom's in the car watching this.
All right. Well, hello to Mom out there. So let's start with the seniors first. Trask and Lesh, you guys come into the season kind of expected to lead this group. How was it this year as far as camaraderie goes, in the huddles, in the practices, in the hallways of school? How was that camaraderie this year?
Well, I mean, when I was a freshman, it was always like a thing to make, I don't know, pick on the freshmen and stuff. I kind of wanted to change that coming in. Like, when I came into the senior year, I wanted to encourage players to keep working and stuff like that, which isn't like at practice when they're on scout team. You don't baby them. You make them work. You push them and stuff, but you don't bully them. Like, I went through that when I was a freshman. Like,
Yeah.
like Rada.
You see all the horror movies, right? Like, they tape the guys up on the goalpost and whatever overnight. So, what all was that like as a freshman? Like, did they dunk you in the toilet or?
Well, it wasn't.
Because I remember being chased for that when I was a freshman.
It wasn't like the movie stuff where they like give me swirlies and stuff, but like, yeah, they just kind of, especially when we were on the practice field out on the grass and on like rainy practices, they just wanted to, I guess, bully you a little bit. Not like the classic bully, but like put you in the dirt, not make you feel it,
I didn't condone any of this, by the way. That was
I actually
our
remember
culture. Our culture was a work in progress.
Yeah, I remember him yelling at Rada one time for when I was on scout team. But yeah, it was fun. I don't know.
So offense and defensive line, that group really led the charge this year, right? You guys were able to give Carey time to chuck the rock. You're opening holes for Nick and Mason and Lamech Elbers. Had a few really good games this year. As far as that offensive line goes, how would you guys rank yourself in District 10?
I mean, I don't know about the district, but in our region, we're one of the best. Us and Fort LaBeouf are really good. I don't know. I mean, we just the thing that made us good was communication. A lot of times, communication and the work we put in the off season with Rich Galinsky out on Route 6.
Yeah, lifted health. So tell me about Rich, because he's a different animal.
Yeah, I mean,
Animal, yeah.
I don't remember one workout where Nick didn't throw up. I mean, he tortured us. I mean, it was bad, but I mean, it paid off in the end. So
Old school is how I would.
Every kid that showed up out there, was consistent with it. I mean, we didn't have too many kids miss very many of those workouts, and as bad as they were, and I'll say the first couple workouts, I was like, I don't know. I don't know if our guys can handle this.
Yeah.
And it was rough for a couple weeks, but they kept coming back and they kept working and they didn't complain. And Rich, more and more as he developed a rapport with these guys, and they trusted him, and he knew what they were capable of, and he was able to push them more and more and more. It was night and day from, just the beginning of the summer to the end of the summer, just what they were able to do, and I was beyond pleased with Rich, and then of course these guys' effort is amazing.
So I'm not sure where he popped up first, whether it was the wrestling squad or the volleyball team, but I felt after he took a hold of the volleyball program last year and really seen what they were able to accomplish this year, I think that set the tone for him.
Yes.
Hey, this guy's the real deal.
Right.
So now football's working with him. Mm-hmm. Boys basketball's now working with him. I don't know if the girls basketball program is or not,
sure.
but I would encourage people. He's hard, but at the end of the day, you get the results. Everybody's jumping like way higher.
Right.
They're running faster. They're able to push people around a little more. So,
everywhere you see people who are, all you ever see is the results, and everybody wants those results. Everybody wants the outcome, but few are willing to put that work in. And he's able to get athletes to put that work in and kind of fall in love with the process of that. So he's a great guy.
Yeah, I really respect what he's doing for our athletes all across the board. So, Nick, what's it like running behind this offensive line this year?
I personally loved it. They were awesome. They gave me pushes up front that I needed. They opened up holes that I needed. They got me in the end zone as much as I can be, and I was excited for the season.
So I look at the offense, as high-powered as it is, but you guys defensively really carried this team this year.
Oh, yeah.
The defensive effort was phenomenal, I thought. Of course, the front line, the defensive line did their job, so linebackers, you guys could roam free. Was it easy to really get – because they're plugging up holes, right? And they're basically feeding you running backs.
Exactly, yeah. I was more of the edge man. I was kind of on the line as well. I wasn't really with the linebackers. I was kind of feeding them for the running back as well. I wasn't really getting the tackles as they were. But, I enjoyed playing down on the line. It was exciting. I was able to get to the quarterback as much as I can, and even on backside runs, I was able to get to the running back sometimes.
Yeah.
But they caught a hold of that because they wouldn't be able to run away from me, so they ran towards me, and they made me end up making it my mistake, making it like on my fault and stuff like that. So I don't know. I enjoyed it. It was fun.
All I know is that you guys created havoc up front, and your secondary ate this season.
Yeah.
They feasted this season. In particularly, Keaton Forcina and Mason Savitz, those two big splash plays when you guys needed them most.
Oh, yeah. Huge
So,
interceptions. Huge interceptions.
What was your favorite moment of the season, I guess?
Ooh. That's hard. Probably the senior night. Senior night. Favorite. It was going into that game, it was probably, we were confident that we could win. We were always confident that we can win. We went in calm and collected, but we weren't playing the same way.
Right.
And then we fought and we fought and we fought, and we came out on top over a region team that was probably one of the harder region matchups. And they had a lot of athletic guys, and when we came out on top, it was just so good to see our guys, and it was senior night, so it was just another great way to end it.
So I will say this, after the homecoming loss, which kind of stung a little, right?
Yeah.
You guys went on a tear and spoiling everybody else's homecoming and senior nights. Did you take that as momentum going into the game?
Oh,
Any
yeah.
of them? Or
Oh, yeah. We took that as momentum. We hated losing to McLean. We battled with them, and we were close with them up front, and we always have these games where we're inches away, where we're just this close to being with them, this close to beating them. And that was one of those games where we were just this close to being with them. And if we just had a little bit more in us, I think we would have been with them and we could have beaten them. Truly.
So, Steve, you were on the field for most of this. There were a few games where you were up there. So you have a different, I guess, perspective of how things look down there. What did you notice most this season?
Just everything seemed fast out there on the field this year. Like it seemed like the play recognition was fast, like the hitting was hard, and then just like the general pursuit of the team seemed like a step quicker than it had been in previous years. I don't know if you guys feel the same way about that, but that's kind of what it felt like for me on the sidelines down there. I was only there for probably 3 games on the sidelines, but it just seemed overall just that one step quicker, and that makes a big difference in football, right? But yeah, it was definitely a lot of fun being down there on the sidelines, and it's just it's totally different from sitting in the stands, where I've always been, or like up in the press box, just like the shoulder pads hitting and the helmets and that kind of stuff. It's a lot of fun being down there, but yeah, definitely a fun year for sure.
Dewey?
Well, I'll tell you what, if I'm not up in the booth, I'd much rather be down on the field, as that just gives you a different feel for the game. I did get to go to the Northeast game and run a field camera for that, and to kind of tell you what happens on the sideline there, I actually was close enough to the field that I could hear when Mason stepped in front of that ball for the pick six that he had, that he ran like 400 yards to get in the end zone. I could hear the ball zipping into his gloves, and you could hear it grind and twist as it came in, and he made that interception. So you don't get to see that or hear things like that when you're up in the booth. So I thoroughly enjoy being down on the field. It's a lot of fun.
And one of my favorite parts of being down there is just listening to Brad Allen. Just like every play, the dude's just yelling. He's like, "Come on, Corey, let's play it." It's just like every play. I don't know how he has a voice left after those games. It's just insane. It's just the stamina of that guy.
Yeah. Brad's a character.
He sure is.
Love him to death, though. The value that this community has because of Brad Allen and because of people like Brad Allen, Josh Stein, the same people that sponsor us, they're in there putting the work in with these wrestling teams, football teams. You see them everywhere. So those guys are in the Corey crowd in general. What was your guys' take when you hear that Corey crowd this year? Because they were not just homebodies; they are road warriors.
Yeah, we traveled well to most games. It showed. We didn't. Until the playoff loss to Hickory, we were undefeated on the road. And just to kind of piggyback off of you, the community support that we've always felt, not just this year, but the community support that we've had has been amazing. It's nice to know that people value high school athletics and these student athletes. And I always say at the banquet, it takes a community to put any season together and support these guys. So all the people supporting these guys, we're just very grateful for that. You guys, Corey Journal, the news your Brad Allens, your Josh Dines, all that. It's a pretty cool thing to be a part of.
So, Coach Goodsell comments all the time, like how fortunate Corey is. We have a hospital, we have a newspaper, you've got us that does a video for whatever the need may be, and just the way the local businesses are supported, and because they're supported, they're able to give support. It really is a small town effort, and I don't think I said it after the volleyball playoffs because of how many people went down to the state playoff game. The bleachers were packed for Corey's side. You don't get that in a lot of towns. Corey's this very special city.
I think so too. I'm not saying we're one of a kind, but not all towns have what we have. When I turn on the live stream for the volleyball playoff games, and I see a bunch of these guys out there in the stands, going nuts. It's a cool thing to see.
Yeah, and I mean, the volleyball team comes out and they watch the football games, and you see them guys at the volleyball games leading the chants that make volleyball special, that special kind of sport. I mean, it's just a full circle.
Yeah.
And it's enjoyable for us to work in that kind of atmosphere as well. So it makes my job easy.
Right.
Because you can feel the tangible excitement that comes with these games, and none bigger than that Fort LaBeouf game. I keep going back to that game. That kick from a kid who regrets not playing football for all 4 years, right?
Yeah, right.
It couldn't happen to a nicer kid, and he's such a hard worker.
Yeah. Like you said, Zach, 2 years ago, he worked out with us all summer. The expectation early on was he was going to play soccer and kick. But he showed up to summer workouts. He was jumping in defensive back drills. He was jumping in wide receiver drills. And you could just tell he was really loving, I think, just the team aspect and the sport itself. And it was kind of fun to watch. And we'd always, talk after practice. Like, I think Zach wants to play football. So he was back and forth, that whole summer. He ended up playing soccer, full time and kicking for us. And then fast forward to this year, he went all in, and I think he's glad he did. He was a key backup, especially in the defensive backfield. Got him some varsity experience that way, and then for him to finish that Fort LaBeouf game, putting his stamp on the program was just incredible to see. It was probably the highlight of my year was to watch him do that. That was just fun. I don't know. To see everybody going nuts, to see Brad Allen going nuts on the sideline. I think I grabbed Zach by the helmet and kissed him. It was amazing.
And we had cut several. I think Erie Times News had a clip, and we got the clip from D9, D10, who was standing underneath the goalpost when that kick happened. So we kind of compiled them together and had that video out there as well. So we got to pay some bills, so we're going to take a quick break. When we come back, we're going to talk to junior wide receiver Mr. Blake Cook, and we'll have all that for you coming up next on the Deej Peeps podcast. We'll be back right after this.
I do this because I love it. I love working with my hands. I love working with people. I love watching things transform from what they used to be to what we can make them become. We are a full-service general contractor. We do everything from the ground up. We take pride in the fact that we don't use a lot of subcontractors. We have our own in-house masons, cement, roofers, siders, drywall finishing, electricians. This is our 20th year in business, and we started out with just a couple of guys with a cordless kit and a ladder. We've grown from there. We really try to focus on quality of work, quality over quantity. Things don't always happen overnight, and it takes time to make things perfect. We run our business like a business. Everything that we do is professional. With a phone call to us, we would set up a meeting for us to come out and meet with you, go over your project, what you are hoping to gain from it, the things that you want to see input into it, and then I would create a proposal. We would send it out to you, you'd let us know your thoughts, whatever things that we got correct, whatever things need to be worked on, and then we would grow it into exactly what you want. Our employees mean the world to us. We couldn't do what we do without the guys that we have. And we take pride in the fact that most of the guys that have been here for a very long time. If you're looking to have a project done, feel free to reach out to us. I do this because I love it. I love working with my hands, I love working with people.
We're insurance agents. Of course, we're going to ask you about all the residents of your household, including Granny, who doesn't drive your car. We're insurance agents. Of course, we're going to send you that ID card that you asked for while we were shopping at the grocery store. We're insurance agents. Of course, we drive around the neighborhoods looking at everybody's roofs and commenting on the trees that are going to fall in your neighbor's house. We're insurance agents. Of course, we ask you about your dog and what type of breed they are, and we listen to stories about how they only bit the mailman that one time. We're insurance agents. Of course, we're going to walk around your house and take pictures of all sides, and then we're going to talk to you about installing a railing on your steps. We're insurance agents. Of course, we put road service on your policy, but we don't put it on our own. We're insurance agents. Of course, we got boots on our back seat. We've got files galore. We've got paperwork. We've got a measuring tape, and we got briefcases. We're Team Rosback, and we're here to protect your family and your assets that you've accumulated all your life. That's why we're here to work hard for you. P.S. Personal Service. We're insurance
Carrying a balance on a high-interest credit card, it's time to switch cards and save. Transfer your balance to a Corey Federal Credit Union Visa Rewards card and enjoy 0% APR for 12 months while you earn reward points. Current card holders must have $500 or more in available credit. This offer is good through January 15th, so hurry into Corey Federal Credit Union today. Corey Federal Credit Union is located in Corey, Union City, and Spartansburg. Online at CoreyFCU.org. Some terms and conditions apply. Membership eligibility required. CFCU, federally insured by NCUA, equal housing lender.
Here with head coach Jeff Goodwill, Ethan Trask, now Cook,
And yeah, he broke, let's see.
too from last year this year has been phenomenal. There's so many options out there for you to go
This year, like, they were asking, "Are you guys gonna be good? Like, is it even worth going out?" And I was like, got away. So let's talk about it, because most occasions they come right back to you and you like take off on a second touchdown. Those easy ones sneak up on you. Let's talk about how do we plan on just look at it. And I think the best example of that would probably be either against one.
I'm excited. I'm excited about this group coming back.
So,
I can work on myself to get better, but I also need to make sure that he can get in and also work on his game. It's not all about.
One program, or their uniforms are very similar. So it's always fun to see because I've done coaching up.
he just shows me
Wrestling update?
Your music's still playing from the break.
your Stream Deck is doing me no good. Thank you, sir.
It's always my fault.
I apologize, folks. Thank you for the update. So we get. Does that mean we have to get back to Mr. Cook?
Probably.
All right.
Seeing as how his mom's the one that texted me, said that.
Really?
So,
Oh my gosh.
so
my
Blake, do
gosh.
you remember back when you was in flag football who
I
you had
do.
for a coach?
You? Yeah, I do.
Do you remember the one thing I told you about in flag football? This is one thing that I remember for the point I made to you.
Run north and south, not east and west.
Exactly. Believe in your talent. Believe in your speed. You get that corner, plant the foot, and go north and south, and you would be turning into an exceptional varsity athlete, which you are on the cusp of doing. So, if I look at the offensive stats from this year, we had 9 wins. Of those 9 wins, the offense scored 25 or more points in 8 games, and you scored over 40 in 4 of those games. So that is a phenomenal effort by the entire team this year. So one of the questions I had for Blake was throughout the season, there was a few games that you got a little banged up in, and you're laying on the field out there, and a trainer comes out. What's going on? What are they saying? Is it just that you get the wind knocked out of you, or you got an ache or a pain somewhere that Mike's able to get rid of, or what's going on when you're out down on the field there?
You know, I don't know if everyone's noticed, but I'm not the biggest guy on the field. I'm about
Really?
I am about like 5'11", $150, but you know, everyone out there is usually a lot bigger than me, and the 2 biggest ones were at Fort LaBeouf and Hickory. And Fort LaBeouf was, we all know, was a messy game, the weather, how we played. And my 1 punt return, I got hit, and it ended up being a concussion, which was kind of a big deal because I've had a very dramatic history with concussions. I tend to get them slightly more than the average person. And that was also a big fear going in, was how drastic is this? And the amazing doctors that were there, especially like Dr. Ryle, helped me get through that as quick as possible, a lot quicker than I thought I was going to get. Like Mike always checking in on me, appointments that I went to. I wanted to get back as fast as possible. And obviously, per PIAA, I had to miss the Girard game, which honestly didn't really seem like we needed me, given the score of that game. So I was very happy that I got to rest and just watch the guys play. It was a very great opportunity to just sit back and let my body heal. And obviously when I came back in the second quarter, that GM game, that was a game where I knew I needed to step up, especially with Jacob Zeitz. He's no one to just laugh at. He's an athlete. And I think I did step in with my ability, which I did have like a couple messed up moments, especially on defense. But, I mean, these guys over here, Nick and Aiden, are especially big parts in helping us corners and secondary get bailed out with big plays up there on the line. They deserve a lot of credit over there. And especially at Hickory. Obviously, jet sweep, I think it was like an option. I didn't even have the ball. Both times it's kind of crazy. I never even had the ball, and I got hit.
You got annihilated.
Yeah. I looked back at that film a few days later, and I saw how bad it was. I don't remember anything after that. I was just appeared on the sideline. Mike said I was staring at the stars, as he likes to say. But I was just, the entire time on the sideline, I was just like itching to go back, but they just never let me. But it's very, like, a lot of the times, a lot of years I've been consistent with injuries, but I've also bounced back from them. This year especially is probably the least that I've had, and it's only been 2. I've always had like aches and pains, but you just gotta get past those. You know, they'll go away. But especially with your brain, you know, it's good to stay safe with that.
Yeah, and Coach, obviously in high school football, they talk safety of the players first and foremost. We've got some of the best trainers in the area. You know, you look at the work that Mike does, and every school has their trainer that comes out and really look after the safety of these kids. What's the message coming into the season or in practice about protecting yourself?
First off, Mike is unbelievable. You know, sometimes his approach is unorthodox or goofy or whatever, but, you know, that's just Mike, and once you get to know him, and You realize how much he cares about our kids. He's a fun guy to work with for sure. And from a coaching standpoint, we're always coaching safety. We spend the summer, all the fall camp, we run tackling drills, low contact tackling drills, teaching, where your head should be, where your chest should be, how to use your arms, how to use your hips, stuff like that. Trying to make the sport as safe as we possibly can. Our advancements in equipment certainly helps that, but we do our part by teaching the right way to tackle, teaching the right way to block, and also harping on our kids to be honest. I'm not impressed, if a kid is going to ignore concussion symptoms. That's not part of, what we want our culture to be. These are high school kids. They have a long life ahead of them, and the last thing I want to see is a kid get messed up from playing a high school sport. So,
yeah. So kudos to everybody around that preaches the safety of the kids, because and it's not overlooked these days. People are aware of the concussion problems and what can cause issues with down the road as far as health goes.
Yeah.
Everybody's super critical and want to be safe about that aspect of it. But a lot of that too, when it comes to your body, is getting ready for the season. And again, Rich has helped out a lot of athletes with that.
Yeah, there's a lot to be said just for neck strength, and helping to stop concussions, and just getting your body ready. When you come in and try to start a football season and all you've been doing is playing Fortnite all summer long, and eating chips and dip on the couch, you're probably going to hurt yourself. This is it's a collision sport, like they like to say, not a contact sport. So you got to get your body ready.
All right, we'll take one more quick commercial break. When we come back, we're going to talk about the future of the program and the future of the seniors, as well as what the aspirations is for next season. So we'll have that for you coming up next right here on the Deej Peeps podcast.
Hey students, we're hiring. Come be a part of our growing culture and team. Get with your school counselor to find out how to get a part-time job before graduation. Put in your resume for summer and long break employment. Come join us today at vikingplastics.com/careers or email employment@vikingplastics.com.
Welcome to Salt Church. We have been in existence for 16 years already, and the main purpose of even having this kind of a experience with everyone is to really dive into the Word. We serve, we anoint, we live, and we train people to just be open to what God is doing in our lives. You are welcome here at Salt Church. We have services Sunday morning at 10:30 here in the sanctuary, but we also have breakfast at 9 o'clock and discipleship training in between the two. So it's a really happening place here on Sunday mornings. We also have life groups, men's groups, women's groups, youth groups, worship stuff. We have all sorts of things for the whole family. Come check us out. We'd love to see you.
There'll be a lot of things that didn't get accomplished if it wasn't for Corey Community Foundation. They've just really been a driver behind improving the community.
3 of the organizations that I'm heavily involved with get assistance, get advisement, along with grants from the Corey Community Foundation. Without their help, there are many things in the Corey area that would not happen.
Organizations know that they are backed up, that they have somewhere to go if necessary for their funds.
CCF
can help coordinate funds with other major donors and groups like ECRA and the Erie Community Foundation, and helping us get grants, matching dollar grants. So it's a way to compound our impact.
It needs an organization that's trying to make things happen.
So by going through the Corey Community Foundation, it will ensure that our money gets put in the places we care about here within Corey.
You don't have to be a millionaire. You can leave a couple $100, you could leave a couple $1,000, you can leave whatever. When everybody pulls together, it makes a big difference.
Your money is long going to outlive you for the benefit and the good of the community. And so I have comforts in knowing that CCF, long after Brad and I are gone, is that we're still going to be able to provide value to Corey just by even giving a little bit to the Corey Community Foundation.
When you need health care, you deserve a health system that takes a whole-person approach to medicine for you and your family. Whether you need the expert care of our hospitals, the specialized knowledge of our clinical practices, the compassionate support of our behavioral health network, or our continuum of services for seniors, you can rely on LeCom Health. Founded in Erie, invested in Erie, advancing healthcare in Erie. LeCom Health, whole-person care for a lifetime.
And welcome back in here to the Deej Peeps Sports Podcast. Scott Lockwood, Dewey Hurd, Stephen Mountain, and we got Coach Goodwill of the Corey Beaver football team and a few of the players here with us. So, guys, we're winding down the show here, and I want to thank you all for all coming on. Gives us an inside look at the players. You're just not jerseys and a helmet out there making big plays, right? People with aspirations and futures. So let's start with the seniors, as we always do. And Trask? All right. So future plans, what are you looking forward to after your senior year here at Corey Area Senior High School?
Right at the moment, I'm planning on going to college. I've been looking at a few schools. One of them in Ohio is called Walsh University, and I've been planning on – they're D2. I might try to play for them. I don't know yet. But they have an aviation program where it's a 2+2 program. So you take classes your first 2 years that you need for an aviation degree, and then the last 2 years you take classes and you train for flying an actual plane. So you graduate with a bachelor's and a pilot license. So I want to be a commercial airline pilot after college.
Have fun with that. I don't like planes. I'm not a heights guy, I guess. Nick, first of all, I'm going to get one question out. We labeled you the Tasmanian Devil. I don't know where it came from.
Well, we had fun with it. I know that.
We had fun with it. I know that. What was your take on the nickname?
I loved it. It was
okay. As long as you like it, we're good. That's how you played, though, right?
Oh yeah, it was just everywhere. It was just, I wanted to be a part of it. Like if there was something big going on, I was just like, ooh, I want to go be part of it. So I just ran.
So what are you looking forward here in your future after you graduate from Corey High School?
Right now, my hope is to play college football and get an education in criminal justice. And I'm talking to a couple schools right now. Muskingum is one of them. Muskingum in southeastern Ohio. Baldwin Wallace, Alfred, stuff. Little D3 schools, but they've all reached out to me and they've liked what they've seen. Hiram's reached out to me, but their head coach recently got fired, so that's going to be hard.
Okay. All right. So, in Coach Goodwill, a lot of these parents especially, they want to see their kid D1, D2. Does it really matter at the end of the day? Because I've seen a lot. If you've got the talent, fine, but your overall goal is education, correct?
Correct.
So what's the advice you give to your athletes and the parents who are trying to get these kids into a school? D1, D2, D3, where does the cutoff line kind of matter and where doesn't it matter?
Yeah, I mean, the first thing is to always be honest, even when it's not easy. And the truth of the matter is we don't have a lot of D1 athletes coming through here, through the halls of our school. Not to say it's not going to happen, that it's impossible, but, most of our guys are D2, D3 guys. And then as far as education goes, that's just a consistent message from the time we get them until their senior year. Like, we harp on academics. I keep a close eye on academic probations, academic suspensions. I'm happy to say that those are few and far between in our program. So, the kids are going to believe what you emphasize on a daily basis, and we try to emphasize academics as much as we can. So, so I guess to go back to your point, yes, academics is number one. You can't play football forever. I don't know. You always see the stats of how many football players make it to the NFL. It's like 1%.
Yeah.
Okay. So,
yeah,
we got to have a plan for sure.
All right. So one's going to be a pilot, one's going to be a criminal investigator. Where are you headed, Coach? What are we looking at for next year?
Next year, we had a ton of depth. That's something we talked about all year. In interviews with you, and the good thing about that depth is we had a lot of underclassmen getting real varsity experience. So we have a lot of experience coming back. A lot of athletes coming back. We have Blake. You mentioned Connor Sterling earlier. We got Lane McAlbers coming back, to name a couple guys. Keaton Frasina. We're missing our senior quarterback, so we need to figure some things out there. Luckily, with the margin of victory there for a few weeks, we got Lucas Baker, some real varsity experience. That was one of my goals going into the season. How are we going to get him on the field? Because, we knew, obviously, that Nolan was going to be gone after this year. So high hopes for Pookie, as we call him. You can use that nickname on air, Pookie. We love Pookie, and but he's.
Something tells me he may not like that nickname, but
I don't think it
one
matters.
that's stuck.
You didn't ask about Tasmanian Devil, so.
Well, I got to know, who's Pookie?
That's Lucas. Yeah,
okay.
Lucas Baker.
Lucas Baker.
He's going to have a great off season. He had a great off season last year. It's not easy to know that you have the talent and the work ethic to maybe be a starting quarterback somewhere else in our region, and to sit behind the scenes that whole time. I'm very excited for him to see what he can do, and for him to be the guy. He's earned it. I'm not going to say that he's 100% going to be the guy, because we never know going in, but he's certainly put in his time and earned it that way.
And then next year you have Cummings coming up, correct?
Mm-hmm.
As a freshman, so
Robert,
he'll be.
Yeah.
So you work the same offense in the middle school as you do. With the base, anyways.
The base, we like to use our base offense, base terminologies, where they can apply them as much as they can, and that, we talked about cohesiveness.
It kind of bridges that gap.
Yeah.
So they're not learning
right
their freshman year. They kind of know it. Now they're adding to what they know.
Right. Yeah. Like a freshman shouldn't come up to us, and not know how to run a slant, and our quarterbacks need to at least be familiar with certain terminologies, as far as quick game, 3-step game. They should be able to throw the swing, the bubble, stuff like that. It just consistency all the way up through. Rob Cummings took over the rec program a couple years ago. Craig Jaquith has been at the middle school level forever, And so the consistency there from the bottom to the top is key. And, those guys are awesome at, supporting the varsity staff and team. They want to do everything they can to make us better at the top.
So Blake had mentioned earlier how people are like, is it even worth coming out? Are you going to be any good?
Yeah.
That mindset, probably not the right one to have, right?
Right.
The mindset you want the kids to have is, hey, I'm coming out. Where can I make a difference to make this team better?
Yeah.
So it's kind of the changing culture. We've seen that kind of start to flip over the last 2 years, right?
Yeah.
Now you had that whole, and it started when Lesher, Carey, Savitz, those guys were in 7th and 8th grade. That 8th grade year, we had so much fun covering middle school football because they just dominated everybody.
Right.
Now you've seen where it led coming up through, and as seniors, now people kind of looking at football like, I want to be a part of this.
Yeah.
So that's got to help with your numbers at least.
Yeah, the hardest part of, turning a program around is just to get to that point where you're winning football games and people want to be a part of it. This senior class this year, I think more than any senior class, has, done their part to flip this thing around and right the ship. And when I hear Aiden talking about, how he didn't like how he was treated as a freshman, so he was going to change that, this year as a senior. And I hear Blake talking about mentoring Connor Sterling. Like, that's music to my ears, just those two comments shows a culture change and shows that we're on the right path here. And that leads to consistency from a program standpoint for the years to come.
So, Mr. Cook,
howdy.
You'll get last crack out of here. So, being as a junior, you're starting to look at colleges, correct?
Yeah.
So, probably more on the track side, I'm guessing.
Yeah. I noticed about halfway through my freshman season, especially with football and track, I don't really have the best chance of having a future in college, especially for football because of my size. But for track, especially with my freshman year, and last year my sophomore year went so well, I definitely have a future with that. Honestly, I'll go wherever anyone gives me a chance, whether that's with football, whether that's with track. Wherever I can make an impact, that's where I want to go.
So is there any schools you're specifically eyeing right now that you would like to try to be a part of, or?
Especially with more of the track side, Pitt is especially with the medical field, because I want to be a athletic trainer, athletic therapist. Okay. Their program is phenomenal. Mercyhurst has a phenomenal program. We just went up there for a field trip, and it was perfect. And the only thing that didn't really check a box was they didn't have a track team. But now that they do, they just instated one not too long ago. It's definitely jumped up on the top of my list. But especially with these schools, like, I have noticed that I am on pace, especially for D1 with track. And right now I'm about low D1, maybe mid D1, but I still have a lot to go.
So you get through football season. Now, do you start thinking about track immediately, or do you take a month or so and be like, okay, now I got to reset? What's your training regimen like from one sport to another?
Definitely a few days after football ends, I'm immediately into my track mindset. The indoor season just started. Last year I had a pretty decent indoor season. It was my first year doing the 60-meter hurdles. I ended up being ranked like top 30 in the country for it. This year I really want to go to nationals, especially New Balance indoor nationals. They call it the fastest party on the planet. I really want to go to that. And just the people that I've met, like, I have friends that do go. Like, I have like Jack Dolak, he goes to Harbor Creek. I have Abby Malashevsky, she goes to Northeast. When I go, I get to meet their coaches, and I have met world champions at that dome, which is just an amazing experience, especially to teach myself what I need to learn, and also learning from people who have been at the highest level.
All right. Always learning and having fun doing it.
Yeah.
That's the goal, right?
Yeah.
Yep.
So, Dewey, what do you got? You got anything else for these guys?
I know I asked Coach at the beginning of the year, I don't know if it was after the first game or leading into the first game. I asked him if we were going to get WWW, and I think the results kind of state where we're at with that. So great season this year, Coach.
Thank you.
It's nice to see the program being built the proper way. And we've kind of said that over the years doing the broadcast, that we run up against a school that's constantly having coaching change, and that's a real big staple to stabilize a program and get it going in the right direction, is to have a good, solid coach, and you're doing a phenomenal job with that.
Thanks, Dewey.
So it makes our job a little bit easier and funner to do, but it's great to see. We call it Beaver Nation coming out and support everybody.
Yeah.
So as these guys move on, come back to town, and if you go away, come back to town and support us and put back into the program that gave you guys so much. So it's always a fun time.
Steve-O?
Yeah, maybe a quick question to our seniors here. What are you going to miss most about this football team, the football program, and just being involved and all that?
I think the most I'm going to miss is the fun of it. Like the practice, obviously later in the season, it kind of gets a little repetitive, a little boring. I mean, I don't want to say boring, but
feels that way for me too, by the way.
Yeah, well, sorry. But I feel like the coaches and my teammates have always tried to make it as fun as possible, by winning and just by making it a fun experience at practice, before games, after games, everything like that. Obviously, if you lose, it's not as fun, but by winning, it obviously makes it more fun. So,
music helped.
Music did help in the locker room, everything like that.
Yeah.
Obviously, one of the more fun things for me, being a captain with Kale and Will and Nick and Nolan, was changing the culture. I mean, last year, like with Levi and Tom Show, they were big into firing us up in the locker room before games, like screaming and yelling. Obviously that helps with some players. Me and Will always talked about it, like making a culture change is like less leading with words, more leading by example. Instead of talking about messing the other team up and everything, do it. Like, we talked about it, like Levi and Tom Show, they were great players. They talked about it, they yelled and fired us up in the locker room, everything, but that year we only won 3 games. When you come into on the field and you win 9 games in a season, I feel like you don't really need to fire your players up. That gets them motivated enough to give their all on the field, and that's really fun to watch.
Yeah, 9-3, nothing to blink at. Nick, how about you?
Just being around the boys, I enjoyed it. It was so much fun just having a season like this. It was something special. I mean, I remember playing my freshman year, and I know you remember that, Coach Goodwill. That was no fun. That was not a fun year. And but over the years, it seemed like we kept winning. It would be like we win one more game. Like I think my sophomore year we won like 2 or 3 games, and then my junior year we win 3 games or something like that. This year we win 9 games. And it was just like every year it's kind of like we kept getting another win. And I was looking forward to our senior year, and I just knew it was going to be special, and I had a lot of fun with it. And I also had a lot of fun every Wednesday going to Wings. That was probably one of my favorites. Love the Wings at the library. Shout out to them.
Library Bar and Grill, one of our sponsors this year. So, yeah.
Right on.
Thank you guys so much. Best wings ever.
Wow.
You heard it here on the Deej Peeps podcast. The best wings ever, the Library Bar and Grill. I think there's a couple restaurants in town that would challenge that, but don't take my word for it. Take Nick Lesher's words for it.
Listen. best cranch wings in town.
Okay.
Best cranch wings in town.
All right.
Best cranch wings.
We ought to get some bar to make up a flavor and call him the Tasmanian Devil.
Maybe.
There you go.
So,
you can be a wing connoisseur. So, all right. Anything else, fellas?
That's all I've got.
Coach, you got anything else?
Just thank you guys for having us on. This has been fun.
Yeah.
I wasn't sure what to expect. I'm not like my commute to work is about a minute and a half, so I'm not a big podcast listener. So this was fun.
Well, we want to use the platform. You get to see the kids in a different atmosphere, right? They have things in the goals and things they want to accomplish. You get to see the person behind the player. And that's one of the things we thrive on is how can we build character, help the school, help the coaches, help the parents build character. And you get stuff like this, right? So when Erie News comes around, you don't get on there and say something that maybe you shouldn't be saying, but it gives the kids a chance to open up and show their personalities.
Yep, absolutely.
So it's a pleasure having you on. Yes, it gives us content, but we're here for the kids. We're here for the sports programs, and we'll continue to be here as long as the local businesses keep supporting us to get the job done. And we're looking forward to next year. I can see the flashes of lightning all over the field next year. We didn't mention Dion Kennedy, who is another quick up-and-coming player. He had a lot of varsity time this year, so I'm looking forward to next season. And this season was more of power and grit. I think next year's going to be more flashes and lightning and a bunch of stuff going on. It ought to be pretty fun. There's a lot of speed on this team.
Yeah, we shall see.
So, all right, we'll take a quick commercial break. We'll let you guys get out of here, and we'll come back and close it up with Dewey, Steve-O, and myself right here on the Deej Peeps Sports Podcast. We'll be back in just a few.
I do this because I love it. I love working with my hands. I love working with people. I love watching things transform from what they used to be to what we can make them become. We are a full-service general contractor. We do everything from the ground up. We take pride in the fact that we don't use a lot of subcontractors. We have our own in-house masons, cement, roofers, siders, drywall finishing, electricians. This is our 20th year in business, and we started out with just a couple of guys with a cordless kit and a ladder. We've grown from there. We really try to focus on quality of work, quality over quantity. Things don't always happen overnight, and it takes time to make things perfect. We run our business like a business. Everything that we do is professional. With a phone call to us, we would set up a meeting for us to come out and meet with you, go over your project, what you are hoping to gain from it, the things that you want to see input into it, and then I would create a proposal. We would send it out to you, you'd let us know your thoughts, whatever things that we got correct, whatever things need to be worked on, and then we would grow it into exactly what you want. Our employees mean the world to us. We couldn't do what we do without the guys that we have. And we take pride in the fact that most of the guys that have been here for a very long time. If you're looking to have a project done, feel free to reach out to us.
When you need health care, you deserve a health system that takes a whole-person approach to medicine for you and your family. Whether you need the expert care of our hospitals, the specialized knowledge of our clinical practices, the compassionate support of our behavioral health network, or our continuum of services for seniors, you can rely on LECOM Health. Founded in Erie, invested in Erie, advancing healthcare in Erie. LECOM Health, whole-person care for a lifetime.
All right, sorry about that, folks, and welcome back here to the Deej Peeps Sports Podcast as we're getting ready to wind down tonight's show. Dewey and Steve-O, Corey football in the house today. That was kind of fun. I like it when we get a big crowd in here.
Well, it's nice to see the guys open up, talk a little bit. So instead of being pulling teeth on them, so it's great interaction with the guys.
So coming up, we got a busy week. We're full tilt as fresh out of the holiday season, as they say. How was guys' Christmas and New Year's, by the way?
Yeah, mine was good. I didn't really do a whole lot. I pretty much just stayed home and enjoyed time with the family and friends and girlfriend, of course, and just spent it mostly indoors, kind of just doing whatever, doing some stuff around the house, and it was good. How about you, Dewey?
About the same. My boy Derek was home for the holidays, so it was good to have him home, and he had to go back to Wyoming, so always not a fun day when he has to travel, but had a good visit, had good Christmas, good New Year's.
So he's a drone pilot? Is that the one that flies?
Yeah, he's always changing jobs. So at one point he was flying drones. Yes.
I don't understand people. Oh, drones I can understand, but I don't understand people who like flying, which is a lot of people. I'm scared to death to get on a plane.
I don't know if I love flying, but I love the aftermath of flying when you get somewhere that you want to be. So it's just necessary evil, maybe, but it's all right.
I'm more of the John Madden type, right? Get on a bus and travel where you need to go.
There you go.
That's the end game for me. When I'm done doing high school broadcasts, my end game is to have a tour bus and just do games all through the country. Just randomly show up and do a game of people who I don't even know. It sounds like fun. Like
you mentioned that when we went down to McGuffey, we passed a couple of school buses or whatever. He says that's what I want to get into. That's my retirement.
That's the end game, right there.
Yeah, yeah. I was like
Scott Lockwood retirement experience.
Yeah. It's like the John Cena farewell tour, right?
Yeah, there you go.
Maybe not as big, but
probably not. No.
Anyways, first I wanted to say go Buckeyes. Big win over Oregon. Notre Dame. How about Notre Dame?
They played good.
Well, the whole second round of that college football is kind of you kind of scratch your head. All four top seeds get beat after a week off. It just.
Right.
Yeah, the bye weeks have been the discussion, right?
Yeah, it's been a real big discussion. So,
well, Dewey, how are we doing down in Cowdy? Well, I got you here.
They got the first round win against the home team, Cottersport, 71-0. They squeaked by Grove City with a 48-29 victory, and they're into the first place bout, and they will get the winner of Central Mountain against West Mifflin. So Beavers on pace for a first place finish here.
Fantastic.
Solid showing.
Good. Steve-O, what do you got coming up this week?
Monday, in Union City, the boys play Rocky Grove at home. That's going to be a tough game. I believe Rocky Grove leads their region, the same Region 3 matchup there. So it's going to be a tough outing. And then on Wednesday, the boys are home against Maplewood. And on the girls' side, they have a game today, actually, at Mercyhurst, but we won't be there for that. And then Thursday, Mr. Bill Henry will be in the house in the Bears Den. We're covering the Northeast and Union City. So looking forward to doing that.
That'll be. Make sure you keep him in line too.
I will.
Don't let him take over your broadcast because he likes to do that. This ain't no Corey Beaver show.
Yeah.
Right, Billy? This ain't no Corey Beaver show.
Might I say he's always such fun to deal with and have him in the booth with the game. So
I miss it when Billy's not around. Like when we did playoffs for volleyball, man, those are for some fun nights, fun days, because you get all four of us together and you throw Jack in the mix and until my wife comes and then kind of pops my head and gets on me with all you guys chipping in. That's never any fun.
I think that's the most fun, actually. But,
yeah, well, of course you would think that.
Yep.
Wait till your girlfriend starts doing broadcasts with us.
I know.
Yeah, then we'll see how much fun it is, Steve.
I'll be knocked down a peg just like you are when Lisa's there.
Yeah. a peg and a half.
But until then, I'm going to enjoy it.
So
I'll still enjoy it regardless. But
so looking at our schedule, Dewey's got a wrestling match on Wednesday.
Home match against Warren on Wednesday.
Warren. So before that, we have a girls basketball game at Warren. That'll be Monday. I'm not sure if Rob is going or not, but you're free to work on any night that you want to work because we will need cameras. Somebody to run camera. So if you're not busy, Steve, guess what? You're busy.
on Monday, I'm busy with boys basketball. But
so
yeah.
I will need you Monday for sure. On Tuesday, the boys will be on the road. They travel, or no. Am I on the right week? I'm not on the right week.
This guy.
Boys will be... I'm now lost in my schedule. Okay, so the girls are at Warren on January 6th, Monday. On Tuesday, they are at Seneca, which is a short road trip for you, Dewey. Correct?
Yes.
So you can join Tim and I again if you want. On Wednesday is wrestling home against Warren. Now, is that going to be a girls' match too, or
No.
is that just middle school?
Just middle school and boys varsity.
No JV?
Well, it all depends.
Okay.
All depends on who shows up and who's available to wrestle.
And then Thursday, we will be at General McLean as the girls take on the Lancers. You available Thursday?
No.
You're not.
Girls basketball.
Okay.
With Billy.
Thursday, Dewey? If you're all inclined to do so. And then Friday is boys basketball at Fort LaBeouf.
That I can do.
So we'll have you there. And Saturday is Corey girls basketball at home against Edgewood.
Never even heard of Edgewood, to be honest.
I've heard of Edgewood. I don't know where they're at, but I've heard of Edgewood.
So we got a busy schedule. 5 games next week. 6 games, actually.
Yeah, all week.
Yeah. So busy schedule here on the sports stream. So make sure you're logging on. You're sharing our stuff. Share it with your friends and family. Let them know where to watch. And with that, I guess final thoughts. Today, upcoming basketball season, wrestling, how's everything going?
I'm surprised we got our games in this past week. Towards the end of the week.
Oh, with the weather?
Yeah.
Especially last night, I went out.
Man.
I know. Where did we go? Oh, the wrestling tournament on Thursday. The weather was downright miserable.
Yeah.
I was Jack and I were riding out, and we commented a few times. You know, they closed school with less weather than this.
Yeah, I know. That's why I was surprised we played.
I guess it's not bad enough to send your family and friends all the way over to McLean to go to a wrestling match. So
yeah. But it was a good wrestling match.
It was. Cystic fibrosis awareness dedicated the match, and Beavers showed well, and always fun to go out to Jim McLean to treat us well out there. And
shout out to Soboleski, the athletic director, and her crew over there. They always roll out the red carpet for us.
They did a nice job, and good venue, and just treated us like we were a hometown.
And it's always great competition there, McLean,
oh, yeah.
too. Always, no matter what the sport is.
Yeah, football's pretty fun, too. I got to say, I miss volleyball already.
I'm sure you do.
Basketball, I don't mind basketball, but it's not my favorite to cover. But I like watching and supporting the kids and doing it. But I'm really, really looking forward to softball season this year because I think the girls are going to have a team this year that's going to be highly competitive. And again, Harbor Creek's the key, right? State champions. So, and with the region realignments and stuff, I don't have to drive down to Slippery Rock and Grove City this year. I don't think until the schedule comes out. They might schedule one game, depending on where it is. But
that's one game
or
2.
The realignments. They're going to affect softball and baseball this year a little bit.
Yep. So we'll have to see. And then that's when we had to have football, and we were down in that southern region playing Slippery Rock and Grove City, and
a lot of driving.
It just Hickory and Sharon. It didn't matter. Every week you was traveling because if you didn't do the varsity game away,
right,
you had JV away. So that was a brutal couple of years. But anyways, we got through it. So I know what you're talking about. So
Yeah. So I'm excited about that part of it. Busy week this week. Make sure you tune in. We'll wrap it up for today. I'm going to head to Erie. We got to do a commercial shoot over at Lake Erie Appliance. They are asking for a new commercial, so we're going to do that. And then I have a date night with a wife as she's getting her eyes looked at today over there. So meet her over there, and that's our party today. I don't know where we're eating at, and I don't know what movie we may watch, but I get a night out with a wife, so that's always a positive.
Good.
So I guess we'll sign off, and thank you all for tuning in. Sorry about the audio mix-up there. And again, we had issues last night. New computer, new setup. Something with OneDrive didn't connect and deleted half of our stuff, and so we got to get that taken care of. But I did get word from our friends over in Titusville, and the scoreboard stuff, there's a way that you can do it where you don't have to run an Ethernet cable. He's going to talk me through it. So
really,
hopefully we'll have that system up and running for our scoreboard, and that'll ease the load on Steve and I at least. And you, sir, I have a request from several people.
Really?
Deer in the headlights look.
So there is an option. You ready for this, Steve?
I'm
This
ready.
is a
I think I know
technical
where you're getting here.
Neanderthal.
I think he's ready.
Okay.
I know this guy. You ready?
So there's a thing in Wirecast where you can set up a scoreboard.
Yes.
Instead of running it on Boxcast.
Really?
We're going to have to sit down and figure it out. But if you can dual layer it, people want to know what the score of the match is, and they want the score for the individual matches.
I see. The team score along with the individual match score.
So that is a request if you were paying attention to the Facebook post we put out for help. I asked people, what do you like about the Deej Experience Sports Stream?
Mm-hmm.
What don't you like? What would you like to see?
Mm-hmm.
One of those requests was that.
Well,
And I believe that came from Jackie Joy.
Yes.
Well, I've always put up on the screen the team score.
Right.
And I've always said on the broadcast that that's the team score, and that I try to announce the individual scores as much as I can throughout the individual
Somebody had made
matches.
the comment.
But I'll see if I can't work with you and get it figured out.
Somebody made the comment that all you have to do is pay attention. And Jackie's like, well, I don't multitask, so. Which I get. Some people kind of have it on and just look, and they want to see what the score is while they're doing other things. I get it.
You got kids in the house, and they're noisy, making noise. Sometimes you can't hear everything.
Yeah.
So just a quick
So
glance.
I get it, and our goal is to try and be better at what we do. So we're going to make efforts. The other request was when we announce a defensive play and offensive play of the game, that we kind of show what the plays are. So when we have an instant replay, for example, that ends up being players of the game, bring them up so people can see what we're talking about in case they missed it or whatever. So those are just a couple of requests that we got that we're going to work on, just so you're aware.
Okay.
Yep.
More work for us to do, but
Sure.
at the end of the day, it'll make our broadcast that much better. And while I'm at it, we put a post out on Facebook asking for help, right?
Mm-hmm.
Camera operators, students, if you want to write some articles, we'll put them up on our blog reports on our website. We're looking for camera operators. If you want to learn kind of what we do, get a hold of us either on our Facebook page at Deej Experience LLC, and this is for all schools, not just Corey. So Billy could use a hand in Northeast. If there's any students out there in Northeast that would want to get involved and help run cameras and learn how to do what we do and maybe write some sports articles, we'll put them up on our website. Same for Union City. Steve, you got Cody over there who helps?
Yes, sir.
Is Ryan back, or has he not?
Hasn't helped with basketball yet.
Okay. So we're always looking for help. If you're interested, please reach out to us on our Facebook page or email me at deejexperience@gmail.com, and we'll get you plugged in, and we could always use the hand. Volunteers are always welcome. Parents, if you want to run a camera, come on board, it doesn't hurt to sit and learn. All you have to do is point and shoot. There's not a whole lot to run in the camera.
Right.
Unless you're Steve, who's born to get great shots or whatever.
People would rather be lucky than good. So, that's my philosophy here.
Yeah. So, we haven't quite figured out what Dewey's good at yet. I'm just kidding.
Messing up, probably.
But that's going to wrap us up here for today. Thank you for tuning in to the Deej Peeps podcast. We'll be back next Saturday, but it may be later because we have a girls' basketball game, so we'll have to figure out a time slot for it. Maybe we just do it an hour before the game up in the press box. And, Saturdays we always do pizza or something.
Whatever.
So if I feed the guys, they'll show up. That's the rule, because Dewey says Dewey can always eat. So
that's a quote. Yeah.
That's the quote. So yeah, that'll do it for today. So thanks for joining me, fellas. Thank you to Coach Goodwill and the 3 players, Trask and Lesher and Cook, who showed up. If you want to be a part of the Deej Peeps podcast, please reach out to us and let us know. DeejExperience@gmail.com. Hopefully we're going to get Coach Tyler Bailey and Coach Ryan Mumaw in here when they don't have a game. Maybe I'll reach out to Ryan and say, hey, why don't you come in early and we'll do a girls basketball summary podcast up in the press box. Maybe we'll do that. So until then, we'll see you Monday for girls basketball at Lorne. JV at 6, varsity to follow. For Dewey here at Steve Mountain, I'm Scott Lockwood. Wishing you a great weekend. God bless you all. We'll see you next time right here on the Deej Peeps Sports Podcast.